I am Jazzie Carrington, and this is my show, What's Hot with Jazzie. I'm introducing you to some of the hottest, most innovative people around the nation, from pop culture entertainment to people making a difference in your community and mine. So let's get started with What's Hot with Jazzie. I am a big jewelry lover, so all you jewelry lovers out there just like me, Ana Luisa Jewelry has partnered with What's Hot with Jazzie for this video. Ana Luisa craft high-quality jewelry that is long-lasting, hyperallergenic, and water-resistant at very affordable prices starting as low as $39. They are carbon neutral from their packaging to their products because Ana Luisa Jewelry cares about their impact on our planet. Their designs are unique and will make you feel elegant, empowered, and at your finest. Whether you need new jewelry for work or your favorite event, they offer free and fast shipping in the U.S. and returns, and affordable worldwide shipping as well. Elevate your everyday with long-lasting jewelry you'll love and prices you'll love even more. So what I want you to do is go down below in the description box, click the link, and save 20% by using my code Jazzie20. You'll be glad you did. Hi, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to What's Hot with Jazzie. I'm your host, Jazzie Carrington, and today I am so excited about this show. This young lady, oh my God, I have not seen her in ages, and I'm so happy she's here. She is not the only author of one book, Happy, Healthy, and Whole. Number 2, Hello, Handsome. And number 3, Hello, Beautiful. And we're going to be talking about one of the newest lovely books today, Hello, Beauty, and a little piece of things in between. I am here to welcome you. Beside me today, Dr. Kenya Wallace.
Hey.
Yay! Hello, Dr. Wallace.
Hello, Jazzie.
I'm loving saying that. I'm loving it.
I love hearing it.
I love it. I love it. You know, you recently, oh my God, a lot has been going on since everything, the pandemic.
Mm-hmm.
You've written 2 books.
Yes.
And gotten your doctorate.
Yes.
This is crazy.
Yes.
See, this is why I do this show, because I meet fabulous people like this. So, Dr. Wallace, Dr. Kenya Wallace,
Yes,
what I want to talk about today, you wrote during the pandemic,
mm-hmm.
and even after, you wrote a book. First, you wrote Hello, Handsome, and then you wrote a book called Hello, Beautiful, which I love the titles. I love that. And, you know, I loved your book, Happy, Healthy, and Whole.
Thank you.
That was such an awesome book. So I want to talk about first. We're gonna talk about a little something for the guys too, but first we're gonna start for the ladies.
All right.
So, Hello, Beautiful. So I kind of have an idea of what this book is about, but can you please elaborate and tell us about this book, Hello, Beautiful?
Sure. Hello, Beautiful was more so about my journey through dealing with COVID. And I tell people that I'm grateful for COVID, even though there were so many horrible things that came from it. But for me, it was more like enlightenment.
Really?
Self-renewal, self-restoration. Because I had time to be with me. Like, we couldn't go anywhere. We were locked down.
Yes.
Couldn't go anywhere. Even if we did, we were masked up. People were afraid to even be with loved ones just because of all the implications that were happening.
Yeah.
And so I had to deal with me and my stuff.
Wow.
And I kept saying, I'm okay. But I really wasn't okay.
Mm.
So there was something behind the okay. And I've always loved to journal. And I remember talking to God like, what is happening with me?
Wow.
What's going on? Like, where am I mentally, let alone spiritually? And he had me reflect on all the times that I would journal. I would journal whether I was happy, sad, angry, whatever. But then I began to ask, like, what can I do besides just pouring out that stuff? Like, what's the positive of that?
Where is this leading for me?
And from it, throughout that time, he had me to do affirmations. So I would stand in my mirror and he would give me affirmations that I wrote around my silhouette.
Wow, like what?
I am beautiful. I am Dr. Kenya Wallace, because I was in the process of completing my dissertation for my PhD.
Yeah.
And that was challenging. So I was questioning, was I competent enough? Was I even capable?
Yeah.
So those were the affirmations. And it started with, I am Dr. Kenya Wallace. I am beautiful. I am competent. I am enough. Because all the thoughts begin to come.
And a lot of people now talk about manifesting, and that title, Hello Beautiful, because Mary J. Blige about that same time came out with an album, Hello Beautiful, and she talked about that, talking to myself, talking positive. And I always tell people life and death is in the tongue. Yes. Watch your thoughts. Yes. Watch what you say to yourself. Yes. It really can affect your outcome.
Oh, yes. It's because words shape our world. They heal or kill.
Wow.
And we often, remember we were little, we would say sticks and stones will break my bones, but words will never hurt me.
Yeah.
Words hurt.
Yeah.
Thinking back, that adage probably meant the physical aspect of hurt.
Right.
No one rarely talked about the emotional hurt. So we carry these things into adulthood, and we develop these coping mechanisms so that we don't hurt.
Well, it's because I really want to talk about this. We're talking about this today, y'all. We're going to help somebody today.
Yes.
So, but I did some videos during COVID just to sort of kind of keep myself spirits lifted, because I wasn't able to film and do the show at that time because, I couldn't be in front of guests. Because I like to be in front of my guests. I'm sorry, I don't do the virtual thing, y'all. I'm sorry, but yeah. But I remember I did a video, and I specifically did this video, even though a friend of mine did not realize it. I really did it for him because I had this friend. Okay, you're going to kill me, but I'm going to call you out. I have this friend in New York, and we have been the greatest of friends, like, for years and years.
Okay.
Just great friends. And he had went through some things and that were very devastating that happened with him. He went through a divorce, things. And he's a very busy guy. He's always busy. He's always booked. He owns a barbershop that has done very well for over 30-something years.
Oh, wow.
He also is a great photographer. Oh, wow. So he's constantly booked and busy. And I remember he called me one night because everything stopped. And he called me. He was just like frantic and with so much anxiety. He was like, I don't know what to do with myself. I can't do this. What is going on? And I'm thinking, what in the world? I've never, ever, because he's always so cool, calm, and I've never heard him like that. And I realized, oh my God, now he has to deal with his trauma. Now he has to deal with him. Now he has to heal. Right. And I realized in that moment, he is truly not healed. It had been some time, a couple of years or so that had passed, but he had never healed. And so I did this video during COVID, I said, are you just busy or are you progressing? There is a difference.
It is.
There is a difference. Really is. So I really did that video, what he didn't know, after talking to him and seeing how he was having a hard time. And I think what you said with COVID, it forced a lot of us to sit down and sit in it, whether it was the pain,
right?
Whether it was, whatever it was, we had to sit in it.
Yes. And that's not easy. especially if you're not used to dealing with things, if you're used to covering it up or masking with certain things, because there's some people who were overly confident to mask the insecurities. Then there were people who just retreated farther inward, and it just more so into more of a reclusive state.
Yeah.
And who teaches us that, right?
Yeah.
For the most part, generally speaking, we're not taught how to deal with our emotions or think about what we're thinking.
Yeah.
Because outside of social media and movies and music, at some point you had to be still.
Well, I think too with social media, people, these so-called relationship coaches, these so-called prophets, these so-called positive videos that really are hurt people who have not dealt with their trauma and who's putting it on you and their bitterness.
Right.
And they're putting it on people and they're saying, oh, I'm helping you, but he doesn't want you.
Right.
Move on. He don't want you. He don't like you. He didn't do this. He don't like you. But if you don't even know me, you don't even know what that person's going through.
Right.
Everybody's an individual. I don't care, man or woman. You don't even know what that. There are videos now that start out with, I don't know who needs to hear this, but they don't like you.
That's that emotional draw. And unfortunately, the negative emotion. And there's so many people who co-sign with it. And I used to be one of those people. Like I used to be one. The sister girl comments, girl, you know, and girl, let me tell you, and
the quotes on Facebook, sis, let me tell you.
But I started to think, like, having that time to myself, I was like, wait a minute. What's the outcome?
Exactly.
Because you're on a hamster's wheel. You keep going and going and going, but you're hating on the people who are truly healed and walking in their healing unapologetically. And now you're hating on them. Oh, well, everybody can't be all that positive all the time. That's hurt. That's some form of rejection, some form of lack, definitely insecurity. And I had to deal with all of that. And even being a woman of faith and asking God, like, what do I do now? How do I change this?
So let me tell you, at that time, when you were dealing with this and you were sitting with you and Hello Beautiful, and you talked about the affirmations, but let's delve in. What really made you feel like, I'm going to sit down and write this book, and why this title?
So I had a conversation with a friend who was overwhelmed and dealing with some things. And I realized the power of words.
Yes.
And we would have the conversation about, you know, just really being positive and turning those negative feelings and emotions and words into positives. And it's often easier said than done. So it was like, what can I create to help her with this journey?
Yeah.
So I began to just kind of sit and think, wrote down a number of things, but honestly, Holy Spirit just kind of guided me as to what was needed. And the very first question on the page is, how are you feeling today? Like checking in with yourself and being honest.
Love that.
Yes.
I love
how
that.
Are you feeling
how are
today?
you feeling today?
And there were times when I was...
Girl, that's an Oprah Winfrey moment right there.
Right, because it's like, I ain't feeling it today. I had a lot of I ain't feeling it days. Like, I'm not feeling this.
Wow.
But why was I not feeling it?
But do you also think when you say, how are you feeling today, that it forces you to be honest?
And it's written in a way that it sounds like a girlfriend is asking you the question. Not just a typical, how am I feeling today? Because that was my first draft. How am I? And I was like, no. I want them to know it's coming from a person who's been there, done that, and a person who cares. It's like, so how are you feeling today?
Wow.
And then it's like, who or what are you grateful for? So redirecting those negative thoughts because there are times I felt like I was invisible. No one saw me.
Oh,
felt like no one was hearing me. And I'm on social media all the time at this point.
Oh, wow.
And even having served in my church during that time, it was coming upon a transition for that still, it was like, where's everyone? Who's checking on me? Because I was always checking on other people.
And I think I feel that way at times. I think, and that comes back to, I still love something Bishop T.D. Jakes did an actual sermon on this, perception. And I think people's perception prevents them from really opening up to people and getting to know people, because I feel like that too. I'm like, nobody checks on me. I fell down the stairs one night. I fell down my stairs. I've fallen down my stairs probably about 4 times.
Oh my gosh. I had to get you an alert.
I'm falling and I can't get up. So I fell down the stairs. The first time I fell down the stairs, I was on the phone with my cousin, so that was okay. Of course, she laughed and said, "Did you just fall down the stairs?" Yeah, I did. And then the second time I fell down the stairs, it was like at night. I wasn't feeling well. I actually had COVID. I actually had COVID, and I was not feeling good, and I was thirsty. I was trying to get to, and I fell down the stairs. But that one wasn't so bad. I caught myself. And then the third time I fell down the stairs is I just literally slipped and fell down the stairs. But make a long story short, after that fourth time,
fourth time's the charm.
I fell down the stairs. And I actually got to the bottom that time. That was the first time I had gotten to the bottom. This deep. I had it deep.
Oh my gosh.
That's deep. That was the first time I got to the bottom when I fell.
Oh my God.
I fell to the bottom, and I said, and I sat there for a minute, and I looked around, and I was like, it's nobody but me. And what if I'd have broke my neck? Or something would have happened. I said, nobody would find me until next month because they never call and check on me.
I had similar thoughts as well. And I think that's important for us who are givers and we're personable to allow space for people to check up on us. But for me, I started taking inventory. Because when I felt like I didn't have anyone checking in on me, I really did. But it was like I had certain people in mind that I wanted to check on me who weren't checking on me. So I put more stock into the people.
Say that again. Say that again.
So the ones that were checking on me, it was kind of, they weren't in the forefront of my mind.
But I
had certain people in mind.
Yes.
That I wanted to check on me for whatever reason.
Yes.
And I was angry. And I became bitter and attitudinal. And was like, well, I ain't calling, I ain't da-da-da-da-da-da. But there were people who, at just the right moment, would text or would call, or I would get an email from someone. Hey, how you doing? Just wanted to see if you were doing okay, if you need anything. And that's when I began to take inventory of who's really who in my life and where they belong. So that's where the who for who and what are you grateful for came from.
So you said the first chapter. How are you doing today?
Yes, so it's a journal. So it has like 3 or 4 questions on each page. So it's every day for 30 days. It's the same thing.
Okay.
How are you feeling today? For who? What are you grateful for? And then today's affirmations. What are you saying about yourself? So for me, I had to turn the negatives about myself into positives. Those are the ones that went on my mirror around my silhouette. So when I stood in the mirror every morning, I read the same thing. Hello, beautiful. I'm Dr. Kenya Wallace. And then I went around the silhouette naming all of the positives that I created from the negatives.
Did you do this every day for 30 days?
I did it every day for over a year and a half.
I love it.
Every day for over a year and a half.
I love it. Well, let me ask you this because with the affirmations, okay, this is going to sound so weird, and I don't know if anybody out there ever does this. So I'll say, people say, talk to yourself like it's already happened. Thank God for it, like it's already happened. It's there. And I'm like, but am I being delusional?
Oh, excuse me. So sorry.
Am I in a fantasy world? Am I being a delusional? Am I lying to myself?
No. Because what you are doing is actually creating a self-fulfilling prophecy. Ooh. So again, our words have power. They are life and breath. God spoke the world into existence. He didn't think the world into existence. He didn't think us up. He spoke and it became. So whatever we speak, positive or negative, positively or negatively, is going to come to pass. So have you ever, taking it personal, have you ever said, I will never do, I can't ever do a certain thing? Mm-hmm. And when it came to it, you really could not do it. Well, you spoke it enough. You gave it life. Mm-hmm. So what we have to do is to take those words back. We have to renounce the negative, replace it with a positive.
But I think it's so much people. I have yet to understand why is it so much easier for people to dwell on negativity than the positive mindset. I don't get that.
I've thought about that a lot, and I ask God a lot of questions. And just for those watching, I am a minister, and what I've come to discover is when Adam and Eve ate the apple, and their eyes were open to.
We don't really know it was apple. We know
they ate the fruit. Sorry,
but the Bible doesn't really tell us what kind of fruit that was.
So when they ate the fruit,
for all you who believe it was an apple, it was not. We don't know if it was an apple or orange or a grape.
So at that moment, their eyes were open to good and evil. And at that point, they had to leave the Garden of Eden. They had to leave the presence of God and the communion, that fellowship with Him.
Right.
So from that point, every person was born into a sinful world because sin was now introduced into the world. And thinking about that so many times, because we were born into a sinful world, that nature tends to try to stick closer. That negativity. But with the power of our words, we can overcome it. So God did give us the power to overcome, but it's a choice. There are some people who choose to stay in the negativity because that's become their world.
But I think people are comfortable in their trauma.
Because as a society, we've made it comfortable for them to do so. We've said, oh, it's okay, Jazzie.
Yeah.
You know, it's okay. Just own, it's all right to feel that way, but it's not all right to stay that way. No one's saying, okay, now you've had your moment. Like with your children, when they were little. When they threw a tantrum, you probably would say, okay, I'll let you have your time. But then after a while, okay, time is up. Get yourself together. Let's go. And we have to do that to ourselves.
But don't you think people lie to people more now?
Oh, definitely.
I think everybody's a liar now. Not everybody's a liar, but I think people lie because I'm like, okay, I might not be popular for this, but don't take this the wrong way. But just like we know there's things like diabetes, heart disease, cholesterol, even me, you know, I'm trying to watch what I eat, my weight. Not doing a very good job, but I'm getting better. But when people, I don't think you should make derogative comments if somebody is there's a challenge with their weight. But at the same time, do you feel like now they're saying, oh, just be overweight, just be unhealthy, because you're being a hater. You shouldn't say that. And it's just like, yeah, but people are still dying being overweight. I mean, I'm sorry, unaliving or it's YouTube.
Oh, that's right.
People are still passing. People are still, there's still heart disease. There's still diabetes. There's still things going on. So it's like, no one has to be, and this is where I think people get it wrong. I think when people say that, they think, oh, you got to be skinny. Nobody's going to be skinny anyway if that's not their body type. And that's what people, it's finding a healthy weight within your body type. That's what it is. Finding being healthy and whole within that's good. That's good for you, not because of what society says.
Right.
So it's like, why aren't we saying that more instead of just lying and saying, do what you want? You're not gonna, nothing's gonna happen to you.
But I think we've also given into, or we've become overly sensitive. And everything is an issue. But I remember someone telling me a long time ago about like people who are always saying things. It was like, if you throw a rock into a pack of dogs, the one that's hit is the one that hollers. Like, oftentimes things aren't really an issue, but it's often that one voice that just kind of, for whatever reason, it hits them in that place. And then they want to just cry out to everyone. But I also think it's a lack of knowledge as well, or a refusal to walk in truth. Because some people are going to accept truth and walk in it, make changes. Then there are other people who you can lead them to a well and they will never pull up that bucket to get water. They rather start, die of dehydration than to put that work in. So that's the same thing when it comes to our attitudes and mindsets. You got to be willing to do the work. Because whatever we think, and the Bible says, as a man thinks, so is he.
I just said that on a show not too long ago. And, also I wanted to know, because you have the Hello Beautiful, Hello Handsome. So I wanted to know, was Hello Beautiful geared more towards women?
It's a 30-day reflection journal.
I figured that because we've got the Hello Handsome, Hello Beautiful. So hello.
So can I just show what that one looks like?
Yes, please.
Okay, so this is,
let's talk about it.
Hello Beautiful. Hopefully you can see it.
Yes.
And it is a 30-day reflection journal for 30 days. And you're asking yourself the same question. So it has line pages and then it has space for you to write as well. But the other thing that it has, I included, were meditation moments.
Okay.
Because it was important to have that time for reflection.
Yes.
To just be still. And it's not always taking a bubble bath. It's not always just being still or taking a walk. But for 30 days, there are different activities that promote quietness. Just being still, checking in with yourself, but also redirecting thoughts as well.
I love that. 30 days. Let me borrow this. I love this. So it's like a 30-day journal, guys. How do you feel today? What are you expecting today? Who or what are you grateful for? I love this. Today's affirmations, meditation moment. Oh, I love this. To me, beauty is natural beauty. If you naturally yourself, you're beautiful.
And there are 30 quotes. There are quotes for each day as well that deal with beauty from an introspective place, not just a physical place. So
I love this. And this one's from Sophia Loren, who is one of my favorite actresses. I love her. It says, nothing makes a woman more beautiful than the belief that she is beautiful. Yeah. I love this, Kenya.
And at the end,
is this for me?
That's yours. I want to show you at the end, though.
Okay.
Since you like that quote.
I love it.
This is the quote at the end.
Oh, gosh. Now, this is our girl, Mary J. Mary, I hope you're watching. We just mentioned Hello Beautiful. I know who I am. I am not perfect. I'm not the most beautiful woman in the world, but I'm one of them. Yes. Mary J. Blige. Yes. I love this.
I thought, I was like, oh, that has to go.
Yes, I love this. I love this. Oh my God, Hello Beautiful. This is amazing. I know it's pretty still early in the show, but how can people get this?
Online bookstores, Amazon, Walmart.com, BarnesandNoble.com.
Yes.
But any online bookstore you can get them from as well. You can also go to blurb.com and type in my name or the journal in the page will come up.
So do you type in Dr. Kenya Wallace or just Kenya Wallace?
Kenya Wallace.
Kenya Wallace. So type in Kenya Wallace, and this is where?
Blurb.com.
Blurb. How do you spell that?
BLURB.
Okay, blurb.com. And then I know we're going to come back to this because I love this, but we got something for the fellas too now. We got to look out for the fellas. Hello, Handsome. Let's talk about this because actually you wrote this one first.
Actually, Hello Beautiful was first. It came out last
okay.
fall.
I'm sorry. I thought
No,
Hello,
it's
Handsome.
fine. Hello Handsome was written in April. This was really God. So this is what it looks like. It's for the gentleman. I had a conversation with some loved ones, like my dad and my nephews, and just, they were just sharing about life and things they were going through. And I was like, wow, wouldn't it be helpful if they had a way to journal their thoughts? Because primarily,
and you never hear about men doing this.
Right.
Wow, I love this.
And also dispelling the myth that real men don't cry. Like, so it was pretty much from that premise, but it was like, Hello Handsome is just a reminder again from a sister to a brother, like, we got you. So
I love
before I forget, because I'm like, what did I put in it? And it's basically, it's a little different from Hello Beautiful, but it's today I feel, I'm grateful for, I'm pleased with, one thing I'd like to change. And then there are meditation moments as well for 30 days. But it's reflective.
Well, I like this part too. I was looking at not to steal your book.
No, it's yours.
Oh, great. Awesome. So I love this part. I was just looking at it. Close your eyes and focus on something positive. Take a deep breath and hold it. Count to 4 and exhale. Repeat often. But you know what? This is great because I will say this. I think more men meditate than women. I do find that.
Interesting.
Yes, okay. I do find, seems like majority of the men that I've ever met or known, they always said, I have to meditate. And they're very serious.
Oh, wow. So that's good. And their
so
quotes
this,
for them
hello,
as well.
handsome.
Yes. And that was one, like, really, that was done in like lightning time.
Yeah.
But I was pleased. I was a little nervous because I don't write for men. So I was like, how does this come about? But again, God led me through it. And there's a letter in the beginning of the journal that I wrote to men, just to kind of let them know why I wrote the journal, kind of giving a little history or information.
I love this.
About why I chose to write for them.
Well, I want to read a little bit of that letter, just a little bit. I won't read the whole thing, but I love this, that you did this for men. Hello, handsome. Have you ever felt like you're carrying the weight of the world on your shoulders and no one seems to care? Ever felt like no one understands how you feel or like you can really express how you feel? If you answered yes to either question, you're not alone. Studies report you may feel this way because of society's expectations of you or your generic disposition. Society tells you to suck it up, and the real men don't cry or show emotions. You are thought of as protectors, providers, and strong. Wow. Wow. That makes me like emotional a little bit.
Because I didn't want it to be just another cute journal.
Yeah.
Even with Hello Beautiful, there's a letter in there as well to my sisters, but definitely for men. Yeah. It's like, why would this woman write this journal?
Yeah.
And I wanted it to be from the perspective of a sister writing to her brother.
I love that. So. I love that. And I think, but I also feel like this is helpful for a friend or for someone who just understands, who just gets it. Right. And I think with men, a lot of times, I think we're selfish because I think we have this thing that the only man's goal in life, you remember? Oh God, I'm getting ready to get deep. You know how people always say, oh, for women, females, grow up, find a husband, get married, find you a boo, and the world, everything will be right with the world. And men, the other side of that, the focus. And even if you really pay attention to all this stuff on social media, it's chase the girl, chase the girl, chase the girl, chase the girl, get, you know, what you can get from the girl, and you the man, you the man. And it's like, and some of those men are some of the loneliest, saddest people in the world.
Yes. And again, society has painted these pictures and kind of tried to place us in these roles of this is what it's supposed to be like. Even media, movies, and TV shows perpetuated those things. And we probably even saw it like in our neighborhoods or even in our families as well, where even if someone did try to correct, they were considered to be critical or judgmental. But now it's very important that we understand that it's more to life than that. Because when going back to your example of the stairs, and when
when I fell to the bottom,
you do all of that. You chase, even for women, you know, changing our looks, our bodies, and all these other things to get someone's attention or get the man. But do you really have them? Because if their mind isn't stable, their emotions aren't stable, if they have heart issues that have gone undealt with, what do you have?
What are you getting?
You're still not happy.
Yeah. Because and this goes back to what I love about your first book, Happy, Healthy, Whole. That is so important. You know, I use that so much.
Oh, good.
I do. I say that all the time. Happy, healthy, whole. That is so important, because if you are not whole, two broken people cannot.
They don't make a whole.
They do not make a whole. But if you get two whole people together, and even in friendships, relationships, because I think that we have to realize our friendships are very important too.
Yes.
Not just romantic relationships. We really thrive and need friendships. And I'm not saying you got to have 20 friends, a lot of friends, but you do need that one or two genuine friendships.
And that's important, because we were created to be in relationship with one another. Again, society has distorted that to make it think that males and females can't be friends. There has to be some ulterior motive, or we have to be competing with each other. And it was like, oh, who does she think she is?
Yeah. Not true.
Right.
I have genuine male friends, platonic friends. Nothing's going on. Ain't nothing ever going on. That literally, and this is crazy, have been my friends for probably over 20 years.
That's awesome.
They have wives. Their wives know me. They have children. You know, their children know me. I know their mamas. I know their daddies.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And they be like, hey, Jazzie girl. The wives, the mamas, the daddy, everybody, hey girl, get in this house. I have been friends with these people for many, many years. And so, you know, I have to admit, I did say, and then I had to think about it one time on one of my shows, we talked about this, and I said, oh, men and women can't be friends. Somebody likes somebody. But then I think now I'm retracting, because now when I think back, I do have genuine friendships where they don't bother me. They're not trying to, they have their lives separate from me. I love their family. They love me. Yes. And really, and there's a genuine friendship that we've had just like family. They're my family.
And I think that's important, because even when we were growing up, in the time that we grew up, that's what we knew.
Yeah.
We played together as family. We had cousins, like people we weren't ever related to, but they were cousins. So
they were at your house all the time.
Right. And at some point, there was a shift. Again, for me, it goes back to media and social media, especially like magazines, movies, TV shows. This was even before social media became as prevalent in our lives. But the perpetuation of relationships shifted in those images that we saw. Well, so society began to follow that. And it became, you had to be the man, you know, have all these women, or you were Miss Thing because you had all these booze or whatever.
And you know what? And I made a quote one time on social media about these social call relationship coaches. Do what you want to do. You know, if you want to be a relationship coach on Instagram or whatever, okay, that's your choice. God bless you. But at the same time, if you're going to coach somebody, it's like anything else. Learn, research, know about what you're doing, because all I hear is a bunch of bitter people who is playing on people's vulnerabilities to make them feel, because they don't feel like themselves is giving that advice, they're good enough. So they don't want you to feel like you're good enough.
And the interesting thing about that is there were certain people that I would listen to because, you know, in that space, it sounded good, but I was hurting. So, okay, in my hurt, I was like, yeah, that's good. Oh, yeah.
But it wasn't helping.
It wasn't. And what I began to pay attention to, God had me pay attention to this. They wouldn't talk about the relationships they were in, or they weren't in a relationship at all.
Nothing.
And I started thinking, I was like, wait a minute. You've not said, or you would have a boo, and then it was a story as to why there was no longer a boo. And I was like, and then, I can't follow you.
And then when you ask them, well, why aren't you in a relationship? Well, they could never give you a straight answer. There is a guy who's very popular on social media. He's written a couple of books. There's one guy who's very popular who's written a couple of books. He's really good. I actually like him. He's married, beautiful wife, kids. And so he sort of kind of tackles all sides. But has a beautiful family. So I'm not talking about those people who are giving healthy advice, who they're really genuinely trying to be healthy and positive and trying to put you in a good space to go for that and know what's good for you, to be clear on that. But then you have those people who they're just, it's not really a purpose. It's just that I got a lot of likes, clicked, and this seems to be lucrative for me. And what happens is this guy, he has been doing this for a long time, and he sounds so great when he's presenting. But the more I listen to him and I'm listening, I'm like, And somebody asked him, well, why aren't you in a relationship? And he would not give a clear answer. And you know what I said? Because I'm very observant. And I went to school to be a psychiatrist. Before I was an entertainer. Yes, I wanted to be a psychiatrist, actually. And I watched and I paid attention. I said, he has commitment issues. He had commitment phobia. But I could see that. But that's because I've been trained at a time in my life to see those things. But I was like, he has commitment phobia.
And there are so many people, because I began thinking, because as a former teacher, one of the things I would teach my students is to track their progress. If you're using a certain strategy to solve a math problem, how often are you getting the correct answer with your strategy? Now, if you're only getting the correct answer less than 50% of the time, you need to change your strategy. Wow. So I began paying attention to all the people that I was following, and I'm paying attention to comments, and they're offering these courses. I wasn't taking anything that was not free. Just to be honest, you're not giving me money like that, because I wanted results. I'm a results-oriented person. And I was like, well,
I don't need your cash app.
Right. It's like a year or so. I was like, where's the boo? Then, you know, you're engaged and you're talking about that, and then it didn't work. So I'm like, why am I still following you? Because you're not accomplishing the goals that you're purporting for your coaching.
I had someone a few years ago, and not to put them down. And I've done, when you're talking about doing the work, you know, I've had therapy. I've been, you know, I did therapy for about 5 years. And but I worked it. Like I really work, and I still work on me, even though right now I'm not in therapy. I still work, and I still, the therapy was so great. It's so many tools I'm still able to go with. But
that's good.
I am looking for a new therapist because I love therapy. I think everybody needs therapy. So anyway, I remember that, you know, I was doing the work. And what happened was I started paying attention to the people I was associating with and the people around me. And I started realizing this don't feel And I said, something's off. And here I am. I'm just happy girl. Like, yeah, I got this. Life is good. I got it. There might be a problem over there, but I got it. It's all good. You know, I got a flat tire, but I'm singing about it. Yeah, I'm going to get this tire changed. You know, I'm like, yeah, it's all good. And then I get around certain people and it was like, I mean, I've known this person. What's going on? And I never forget my cousin, whom I love dearly. She's like my best friend, but she's my cousin. And she said to me, you did the work. She said, and what has happened now since you've done the work, you're paying attention and these people don't fit anymore because they haven't done the work.
Right.
And they don't see their toxicity. They don't see that there's an issue going on there. They don't see it. They are comfortable. They're in it. They're engrossed in it. And you got out of that. So now at this stage in your life, she said, it doesn't fit. It doesn't make them bad people. Right. It's not that they're not good people. It just doesn't fit where you're going now.
Yes. So we've heard this a lot where people would go, like, we would improve ourselves. Oh, you just think you're better than everybody else. You're too good. Well, technically, yes.
I love that.
Yes. I put the work in.
Yeah.
I wanted to change me. So yeah, I'm not the same. I am too good to be what I was. If you think I'm better than you, there's probably a reason. It's not me.
Yeah.
It's my change. And Deion Sanders said it best. And I don't want to jack.
Good old Deion.
I love Deion Sanders.
Who left me a $5 tip every time I waited on him at Champion Sports Bar in Atlanta. But I still love you. But it didn't matter if you got a steak or ice cream. I still only got that $5. But I love you, Deion. It's okay.
He's Deion, right? And I cannot remember. And I saw the meme, the TikTok yesterday when he was talking about, he made a comment of like, if my confidence offends you. And it's like, wow, how often have we, and I've been guilty of saying that about people like, oh, she thinks she's too good and she doesn't.
Really? You?
That was a
Kenya, I could never see you doing that.
When I tell you this is God. Because there was a before Kenya. But I've said that, but it came from an unhealed place.
Yeah.
But I didn't recognize it because, like you were saying, people don't recognize their toxicity because their words became their world. So if all I'm looking through is a dirty glass, everything from my perspective is dirty. I can't see clearly. But if someone comes and cleans that glass and it's like, whoa, that's bright.
Wow, I can see.
The eyes are open.
Yeah.
But you have to want it. And some people like sitting in poop. Some people like to sit in poop and be happy.
Some people are
they don't want to change.
They're not, unless I have a friend now, love her dearly, but every time she calls me, and we don't talk often, she talks about the same thing over and over. There's always, there's never anything new. It's all my health problems, friend problems, health problems, friend problems. Literally one day we were talking and she started bringing up, well, if I die, this is what I want. I said, I'm not having this conversation. I was like, I'm not having this conversation. I was like, where are we going with this? But it's always that everything's an issue.
And again, it's like people like drama. There are some people who like the drama of it because to a certain degree, there's a level of attention they're getting. And instead of putting in the work and making incremental change, it's just easier to run down this hurts and oh my gosh, and this person doesn't like me. They don't see that they're the common denominator.
Yes, and another thing is that I feel like sometimes people are a little bit delusional. I seeing that a lot lately. You know, I put a quote because you know I tend to do that. I put a quote out last night. I put it in my own threads, love threads, and shared it to my Instagram story. And I said, I realized that people have been hurt, but it's time to let go of the bitterness. It doesn't protect your heart. It doesn't give you peace, and it doesn't heal you.
Right.
All it is a prolonged nervous breakdown.
And it creates other issues within our bodies. It creates hypertension, heart issues, stroke even. And it could, unforgiveness is also a part of that bitterness as well.
And it's a silent killer.
It is, because even studies have shown that people who have carried unforgiveness have cancer. So it's been traced to that as well. So sometimes we think things aren't that deep. They really are.
Yeah, because if you're always deep down unhappy, stressed, you're going to, your body is going to break down. It feels that. I remember when I had, well, I have reactive hypoglycemic, and I suffer from migraine aura. Migraine aura is not like your regular migraine. It is, you don't feel the pain until after the episode. So like when a person has a regular migraine, immediately they feel the throbbing, the head hurt, whatever. You have to, in my case, it doesn't quite work like that. So my migraine is, it looks like I'm having a stroke or a seizure. And then suddenly one side of my body goes completely limp. I can't really talk. I'm disoriented. Like, it is very scary. And literally, I used to take medicine every day, a preventative medicine. And then you have to, there's a medicine for me to come back to myself. But I have to but here's a crazy thing. Guess what I have to do to come back to myself? Rest. I have to take something that puts me to sleep. And then 24 hours later, it's like nothing ever happened. So my point in that, and guess what the trigger is? Stress. And guess how I developed when I first went to my neurologist, and I was like, how does this happen? And he said, stress. You're always stressed. And he started literally in the doctor's office, he started asking me about my life. What's going on in your life? What's going on with you? What's happening? And I remember I got sent to him because I was in the emergency room, and the emergency room doctor, this is so crazy. I've never had this happen. My test came back because I had had an episode before they actually diagnosed what it was. And he said, there's nothing showing on your test result. And you know what he did? He pulled up a chair, he sat down, he crossed his legs, and he said, what are you so stressed about? And I said, I'm not stressed. He said, yeah, you are. He said, you're not being honest. He said, so I'm going to tell you this. If you don't get unstressed, you're going to have a heart attack.
That's amazing.
And he said it just like that. And I was appalled. I was like, oh, there is nothing wrong with me.
And that's the thing. Oops, I'm about to fall out on the broadcast. Oh my gosh.
So, don't be like me.
One of the things that people don't realize is, and there's probably someone watching who's even having what are like phantom headaches or phantom chest pains, is because of the stress. What happens when we're stressed is our DNA cells actually shrink and they tighten. So if you feel in pain, it comes from that. If you're having those unexplained pains or headaches, it's probably because of stress.
Right.
And we have over 1 billion DNA cells, right?
Yeah.
So can you imagine all of them or majority of them at one time tightening, becoming really tight or short and just tight, and they're all together? Think of a soda bottle or soda can. We're shaking it up, shaking it up, shaking
and then
it up,
it just
shaking
explodes.
up, and it explodes. Heart attack. Could be an aneurysm. It could be anything.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're going to the doctor back and forth and they can't find anything, are you stressed?
Yeah. And I think a lot of people overlook that.
Mm-hmm. Because we push it aside because we have so much to do.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be sick because I have to take care of X, Y, or Z.
Mm-hmm.
I can't be sick because I got to go to work. I got to get this money.
Well, if you're not here, what does it matter?
Right.
Because the world's going to keep on going.
So rest is important. And that was one of the things with my doctoral journey that I really had to learn how to do because I was always on. Even as a classroom teacher, I was always doing something. I maybe took 2 weeks off during the summers, but I was always working. So I never really rested. And one day I felt like I was having a mental breakdown.
Wow.
And God was like, you need to stop and rest. And that's when I learned how to meditate. That's when I learned how to just be still and be quiet and to shut down my mind.
Yeah, because you know,
really get in that place.
Oh, I make time now. I make time. I don't care. You know, a lot of times I feel with me, the perception is that I have it all together. I have no problems. It's just everything's great in my world. You know, I don't have money problems. I don't have, I have just everything. And it's so not, because I have a lot of struggles that I don't talk about or that I don't open up about. But what I do now, there used to be a time where, like you said, I would have mental breakdowns. I have, which I don't talk about, but if this, I'm going to be transparent today on my show. I actually suffer from general anxiety disorder.
Okay.
So I suffer from anxiety, and it used to be really bad.
Okay.
And it's very much under control now. But I feel like it's kind of like when you said, when you started this journey with Hello Beautiful and Hello Handsome during COVID, how it sort of, even though there were bad things going on, it really helped you to make some changes. And that's what happened to me when I got sick. With the migraine aurums, having so many episodes in and out of the hospital, not knowing what's going on with me. And then when I found out I had anxiety really bad and I had to have medicine. And I will tell you, when I had to literally be on a journey of having a stress-free life, my doctor said, you have to make a life makeover. I had never heard that before. And when I did, took me several years, I made a life makeover.
Oh, wow.
So when I have these people now whom, unfortunately, I may not be friends with anymore because I did a life makeover and they didn't like it so much because I was a little too positive. I was a little too less stressed. I was a little too about having a good day. And they didn't like that. So to those people, sorry, but I'm not going back for anybody because, and I'm not saying my world is perfect because it's far from it. But even within the imperfections, and I can honestly say, which for many, many years of my life, I could not say, I'm happy. I'm happy. Maybe something's happened, but I'm still happy. I'm still content. Wow. That is like the most amazing feeling that you could ever have. I remember when I first started therapy and my therapist said to me, this is not talking to one of your little friends. And she said, you are going to feel 10 times worse before you feel better. And she didn't lie, literally. I was having a breakdown every week. I was only going to therapy once a week, but I was going like 3 times a week because I was calling, oh, Jesus, oh, what is going on? And I remember that last time I called her, I'm having a meal. I was like, I need to come now. She was like, well, I can take you in the morning. I was like, okay. And when I came to it and I'm just crying and I'm like, what's going on? This is weird. Like, I've never. And she said, this is amazing. And I said, huh? She says, now your journey has started. Your transition has started now.
Because we have to deal with the things that we have suppressed.
Because you have to let it go.
Mm-hmm. It's like peeling back layers of an onion.
Mm-hmm.
But when you were speaking about having to lose some people, it's okay.
It's okay.
Because we recognize, and my nephew said this the other day, he had both arms stretched out. It's like you have people to the back and people to the front. If you're going forward, you can't keep going back because one's going to pull you one direction or another. You have to release what's behind you in order to move forward.
Yeah.
So even in that, it does hurt. It doesn't mean you love them any less, but sometimes to love people, we got to release them.
Yeah.
We have to let them go. It doesn't mean that we're hateful. They're going to feel it. Again, I keep going back to when we were children, when we were chastised or corrected. It didn't feel good in the moment, but we learned.
I know it didn't feel good for me because my mama told her. She didn't play. My mama was off the chain.
We learned from it. It hurt, but we learned from it.
Yeah.
So even in those moments, we're not a bad person. We might feel bad in the moment, but in order for us to continue moving forward and being who and what we were created to do in the earth, to be positive, to be life givers, to speak life and hope and encouragement to other people.
Yeah.
Just like we have to let go of some negative attitudes. We have to let go of the negative people. And honestly, and I say this a lot, people are going to be people until they decide to change.
Yeah.
If they don't want to change, you have to allow them to
allow them to be. You can't try to force someone to be what you want them to be because you feel like you're there.
Right.
Because everybody's not there and you have to give them that space to grow. People had to give me space to grow. Now, when I look back, I lost friendships because I was an issue, because I was toxic, because I couldn't understand why those people stopped talking to me and answering my phone calls. But now I look back and I'm like, I would have stopped answering my phone call too. Like I was a basket case.
But that also speaks to maturity because I had the same conversation with myself as well. But then it was like, how do I improve? How do I become better and not repeat those mistakes? Because sometimes, life goes in cycles. Things are done in cycles.
Yeah.
And there's some people who are on that negative hamster wheel. There's some people who don't recognize that they're the problem.
And I think that's very hard for people to see that maybe it's you that needs to be, that person needs to protect it from you. And I think that is like, that's tough. Beautiful. That's a tough pill to swallow. And I had to swallow that pill. But Kenya, this is so wonderful. I just never wanted to end. But to close out, can you, first of all, hello, beautiful. Hello, handsome. Can you give us some wonderful, great, encouraging inspiration before we end off this evening?
But just put me on the spot. All I can say is continue to be genuine. Continue to be you. Continue to do the work that's necessary to bring out the greatness that's in you. And your process does not have to look like anyone else's.
Wow.
Stop following social media. Stop following the crowd. Be you. Be authentic and just be real.
Yeah.
But also make the time to be with yourself, to enjoy your company, but to just sit. And for many people, you have to just hear, what is God saying to you?
Well, I said once, and I love what you said, to bring out your greatness, because there is greatness in you. There's greatness in all of us.
Yes.
And I said, one day, recently to a friend, I said, gosh, you know, it's so quiet. You know, my world is so quiet. I was like, does anybody care? It's so quiet. And then something said, but when there was a lot of noise, that's when I was my most unhappy. But now that it's quiet, you know, I had to get used to the quiet, but I love the quiet now.
Yes.
I love the quiet.
Yes.
Oh my God, this has been awesome. Awesome. Thank you, Dr. Kenya Wallace. You are so amazing. Guys, please pick up, start your journal today. Hello, handsome. Hello, beautiful. Yes, start journaling today, and your affirmations, meditation. You definitely can get these where books are sold. Amazon, blurb.com, I believe. Walmart.com. Hello, handsome. Hello, beautiful. You have to have these. And also, guys, to reinnovate, I am so thankful and happy that Ana Luisa Jewelry partnered with What's Hot with Jazzie today on this video. Please look, these beautiful, beautiful earrings. I love these. Aren't they gorgeous? They are absolutely gorgeous. No tarnishing, hyperallergenic, long lasting, no tarnishing, water resistant. They are just amazing. So once again, be sure to click the link in the description box and also save and get your 20% by putting in my code Jazzie20. And thank you guys again for watching another fantastic episode of What's Hot with Jazzie. I'm your host, Jazzie Carrington, and until next time, I'm out.